How's it going, everyone? Oh, I wasn't ready. How's it going, everyone? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. As we always do, this is the way we love to start. See right here? Let us know that you're here. Do me a huge favor, like this post, share it, comment. All of those things tell Facebook and YouTube that we're doing a good job. Because if you've ever been with us really one time, you know that we don't do anything fluffy. We are highly committed to helping you grow as a coach in your skills and competency. And also, we want to see you have a thriving coaching practice. And so that's why we're here every Monday night doing that with you guys. But just a huge favor, jump inside of the comments right now. I don't know who's here. So let us know where you're joining us from, what you're excited about, what you feel life and momentum on. Jump right in. See this right here. Jump inside of the comments and let us know. And this week is super, super exciting because this week is the week that we go full on into the coaching product launch blueprint, zero to launch in 90 days or less. We're going to help you launch your coaching practice or your coaching product within the next 3 months. And so I'll talk more about that in a little bit just to remind you, but that is all coming together on Wednesday. And so we've got a group of hungry coaches that I'm going to be partnering with, and we're going to walk through step by step to help you launch your coaching practice. And it's going to be amazing. Let me say hello to a couple of people who are saying hello to me. Micheline from Illinois, good to see you. Kim is joining us from Chicago. Do me a huge favor for the rest of you and let us know that you are here. How do you do that? Well, jump inside of the comments, jump inside of the chat if you're on YouTube, and let us know that you're here. Tell us where you're joining us from, what you're excited about tonight. Also, do us a huge favor, like and share this post, share this video, because we want to get this in front of as many coaches as we can. And also, that just tells YouTube and Facebook that we are doing a good job, which we're very committed to doing. Let me say hello to a couple of more people. Lisa's joining us from Ohio. Michelle is joining us from El Paso. JK is joining us from Ventura. Let me see who else do I need to say hello to. Diane is joining us from South Carolina. Bill is joining us from Texas. V is joining us from California. Very good. Corey is joining us from Northwest Washington. Very good. And so it is super rainy over here in California over the past week. We're hoping for sunnier, warmer weather, which sounds like it's coming this weekend. Like it's going to be in the 70s this weekend. I'm like, boy, if we could just get into summer. Sometimes we have these weird fluctuations. Forgive me for those of you who are in very cold weather that are suffering. Bart's joining us. He says, getting more in 24. Oh, okay. At first, when I saw that, I thought it was something about how much snow you guys are getting in Colorado. All right. Very cool. Well, keep those comments and everything coming in, especially for people who are just joining us. Now, reminder, this is what's coming up starting this Wednesday. The Coaching Product Launch Blueprint. It is for everything from launching your coaching practice to if you've got a retreat that you want to do, if you want to do an online course, if you want to do a webinar, if you want to do a group coaching program, whatever the product is, what we do is that we walk you through. We take you by the hand and we walk you through each step from brainstorming all the way to launch. We have seen coaches who thought they were had started out the course thinking they were going to coach a particular group of people. And by the time we'd gotten like 2 weeks in, they had really rediscovered what niche and also rediscovered their passion and what they're here on the planet to do. And they ended up changing everything about their business and also having a path to be really successful in it. And so, again, I'll talk more about all of that in just a minute. Let me say hello to a couple more people who are saying hello to me. Cookie's joining us from Charlotte. Valerie is joining us from Pittsburgh. All right. Well, keep those comments coming in. We need to jump in. So what are we actually talking about today anyway? Well, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about why most life coaches never start. And this is probably a very random, maybe not discussed enough topic. Matter of fact, I've never seen anybody talk about it. And that's why it's really important for me to talk to you guys about it, because it's something that I've seen a lot of over the last 20 years. Is coaches who are very ambitious, very excited, very hungry, very passionate, very called. Because everybody who's listening to me right now, you can probably go to your calling moment in your life when you knew that you were called to help people, and you knew that coaching was probably a great clue for what direction you needed to go, because probably somebody told you, oh, you're supposed to be a coach, or that you just find yourself coaching people, or people told you that you were a great listener or whatever. See, you found something along the way that helped you arrive at coaching, and you couldn't be more called than what you actually are. But one of the things that I see way too often, and I've watched it again over the last 20 years, when I was first introduced to this, was actually when I was doing an advanced coaching certification, and I was doing that with my coach mentor, Philip Sandahl. He was one of the coaching founding fathers. And I remember when I was doing some advanced training with him, that he had actually recruited me to go on staff with him with his coach training school. And I remember when I was talking to him and his CEO, what they both told me in that conversation, in the way that they put it, the CEO put it, he was like, coaches aren't very good business people. And I was like, well, what do you mean by that? And he says, well, you're not wired exactly the same way that a lot of other coaches are, because they go through the training, but then they don't do anything with it. They don't start businesses. They don't know how to, there's a really big gap there. And it was an interesting thing, because when I was going through advanced training, that was the same year, instead of going to work for them, that I had launched Life Coach Training Institute. And the reason why Life Coach Training Institute was actually born was because there was a lot of coaches who had no clue of what their first steps were going to be after getting trained and certified. And it was pretty normal to run into coaches who had spent thousands of dollars. Now, we're reasonably priced, but there's most programs that you see out there between $4,000 to $12,000 to go through their coaching certification program. And you got people who have spent good money. They're thousands of dollars poor, but they've still, for whatever reason, that nice little certificate didn't translate into them actually starting a business. That's a dirty secret in the industry. I always say that self-doubt and a credit card is a dangerous combination, because I'm not interested in being a coach training school. I'm more interested in you bringing the high water mark up for people, because you actually stepped into your calling and your destiny. And let me say this on the front end. Getting trained and certified is not your destiny. Getting trained and certified is not your life's purpose. It is not your life's goal, and it's not any of those things. Getting trained and certified is a vehicle towards your purpose. And I'm not interested in you just downloading a certificate somewhere. What I want to see you do is to get the skills, gain the confidence that you need, but I want you to actually fulfill your purpose. There's nothing worse than getting keys to the car and never driving the car. We want to put you in the vehicle, and we want to see you actually doing what you were made to do. And I see a lot of coaches have a real failure to launch. And there's three really big reasons why coaches are going out and getting trained and certified. And let me tell you this, it is not skill. It is not talent. It is not ability. It is not competency. It's not that some coaches are smarter than others or any of those things. It's never any of those things. Because every one of you who are sitting here today, you probably know some people who have had more success than you, that are smarter, that weren't as smart as you when you were in school. Like, I can think of those people. You can probably think of them as well. Some of those people who didn't get as good at grades as you, who are kind of flaky and all that other stuff, how did they manage to get more out of life? than we do. Well, I think that somehow along the way, they were able to take some steps with whatever they brought to the table. Whatever it was, they were able to put steps with it to make the most of it. Because you know that there's products and services out there that aren't that great, but they get marketed really, really well. Somebody had a better business plan than us or whatever. This is what we're really talking about. I don't think that starting a coaching practice is rocket science. It's not brain surgery, but there are things that you got to do to be successful. And for far too long, it's been elusive to most coaches. We've made it attainable. And I'm going to share with you those 3 things. And let me say hello to just a couple of people real quick. Let me say hello to them really quick. Who else do I need to say hello to? Val from Pittsburgh. Did I say hi to Val earlier? I think I did. All right. So let's jump in. What are those 3 reasons, those 3 things that keep coaches from starting? First of all, that they took too much time between certification and starting coaching. That is the first reason, and it's pretty close to the number 1 reason why coaches don't get started. And here's what happens. When you get trained and certified, your next step should be to actually start coaching people and to start your business. And here's what I find is that the longer a coach takes between training and starting, the less likely they will ever start. And if I looked at it over a calendar year, if I went month by month and I watched a coach, if they get to about 6 months, you're pretty much there's never going to be a return back in most cases. If you get to 6 months past your certification, it's a point of no return for most people. What happens is that when let me tell you this, for those of you who feel called and you feel the purpose to becoming a coach, and it's a calling, because when I believe that something's a calling, I think that there's something bigger that's calling out to me, and it's saying, Paul, this is what you're made to do, and this is what you're here on the planet to do. Now, when we hear that, when we sense our calling, when we sense that purpose, the first thing that happens is there's this energy shot, and we feel our hearts come to life, and we're just like, yes. And many of you, when you got trained and certified, if you have yet, you got trained and certified, you were like, yes, this is what I'm made for. And sometimes there's tears and there's elation and everything else. But if you will not act on the thing that has been spoken to you in your life, you feel like there was another voice outside of you that spoke over you. The longer you take to fulfill that purpose, it actually becomes a place of unbelief for you in your life. And the thing that you were called most to ends up, as the days and months pass, your heart gets more calloused. It gets more in unbelief. It gets more in doubt. You lose faith every day. What I'm saying is that the longer you take to start, the more self-doubt will creep in, and it's going to paralyze you. I see it all the time. Let me show you something on the whiteboard really quick. If I have my trusty writing utensil, let me see if I can find it. Oh, I don't see it. Oh, and I need my writing utensil. Where is it? Paul, what did you do with your writing utensil? I may not be doing a whiteboard tonight, folks, because I don't have give me 1 sec. I'm just going to walk off and find my writing utensil, because I must have set it down somewhere when I was walking around. And where is my backup one? Because I have a backup, but I don't see it. Boy, these tech issues, but this one's my own, because you know what? I just don't know where I put the thing. Set it down somewhere, put things on the ground, rolls under things. Let me just see if it just somehow rolled somewhere else. Well, you know what, folks? That's just the way that it goes. It'll pop up immediately when I'm done. But I don't have my wife in the studio who can find anything. She would have made it magically appear in her hand. So what am I saying? Since this is not going to happen tonight, I suppose. Here's what I learned about the medical industry. Back when they were doing surgeries, what they would always do with a surgery, they had really a 3-step plan to have somebody do surgery and to learn surgery and be proficient in it. And here's what the medical model was for surgery. Step 1 was watch one. Step 2 was do one. So what they said is that if you have seen one surgery of a certain type, then watching it one time brings you to enough proficiency that you can go do one. Now, some of you are terrified of that idea, but there was a real reason behind why they would do it that way. See, they would do step 1 would be watch one, step 2, do one, step 3, teach one. That was the cycle of actually coming into competency and confidence in your craft. Now, the reason why they would do that is that the longer you watch someone, this is what they would see. The longer you watch someone do this particular thing that you are called to do, the longer you take before you start, the more you are going to get in your head and never actually do it. And so they figured out really quickly. They were like, we can't sit around and have these students in here for years and years, and they get more and more terrified the longer that they were sitting here. We got to speed up this process, get them out of their head, get their hands in the mix and actually doing it. This is what I find is the success for coaches and the answer to it, because here's what the fix is. The fix is you've got to start as quickly as possible. You can't sit around procrastinating all the time. And look what I found. I found the style. So it saved the day. You know what I did? I stuck it on the other side of the board. There we go. I didn't need my wife tonight in this one moment after all. But there's another reason. First reason is because coaches just simply take too long and there is a lapse. And here's the thing is that the longer you take, the more self-doubt is going to be created. The more it's going to increase, the more unbelief. Hey, let me stimulate your heart again. Don't go into unbelief. If you've fallen in, if you've allowed your heart to get calloused, if you've allowed life to take over and get busy, let me stimulate the calling and purpose in your life again. It is not going to change. And there are people who are waiting on your life, on you to step into your destiny so that they can step into theirs. This is a really serious season in life. This is a really serious time in the world where in the last 3 years that people, depression and anxiety has increased by 25% in the last 3 years. This is the first time in 50 years that people are more likely to say that I am depressed or unsatisfied with life than they are that they're going to say that they are satisfied with life. It's critical that you step into this moment. And there's people who are waiting on you to step into that moment, whether you know it or not. Here is reason number 2. Reason number 2 why coaches do not start is a lack of consistency. So when I say lack of consistency, I'm laughing so hard over here. JK, I should have looked over there. JK said the pin is on. It's like, where's Waldo? And JK knew where it was the entire time. Forgive me. I didn't look over there to know. But now I know. You know what? I could edit the video and make myself like look so much smarter, I guess, but we'll leave it out there. Let me say hello to a couple more people. Jasmine from Vegas. And we also have Jay Burnham Chrissy from East Massachusetts. Very good. All right. Well, let's keep going. The second reason, though, is because people have a lack of consistency in their life. And this is what I notice amongst coaches, and coaches are notorious for starting and stopping and changing direction over and over again. I see it all the time. And a big thing that coaches are notorious for as well is that they just go back and they get more training. And so what ends up happening with this whole starting and stopping is like, okay, I'm starting, I'm ready to go. And they're consistent for about 2 weeks or a month. And then they get distracted. Or then they change their plan Because let me tell you this, whatever plan you start, you have to give it a few weeks before you're going to see if there's going to be any fruit. Like, here's the thing, is that if I go and I plant a bunch of seeds in a garden, I have to know that 1 week later, I'm not going to be eating the fruit of that. I'm not going to be eating the fruit of it 2 weeks later. I'm not going to be eating the fruit of it 3 weeks later. I'm probably not going to be eating the fruit of it 4 weeks later. But at a certain point, I'm going to begin to see something come out of the ground, but I have no idea what's going on underground. You know what I have to do? I have to work it. I have to fertilize it. I have to water it. I have to do make all the conditions right. And I have to stay on it to see if it's going to bear fruit. And you know what coaches do? Coaches jump all over the place. They watch I need to be trying this. I need to be doing these kinds of reels. And maybe if I do these kinds of things, and they're changing their niche all the time, and they're doing all kinds of different stuff. And what ends up happening is that they lose ground because they can't take any ground because they haven't decided on anything. So what ends up happening is that after a coach gets into futility and they're not seeing any kind of results, then they back off and they get lost in self-doubt. And they're like, well, maybe I just need more training. But training's not your problem. Your problem is that you don't have a plan of action and you don't have any clarity and you're not being consistent. So it's a really simple fix, really, is that you need to do the right things consistently. And here's what I'm saying in that. You don't try to do everything. I don't think that you try to be on 5 different social media platforms. I really don't. I don't think that you try to serve 3 different niches. I don't think that you try to do 30 different things and you're spreading yourself all over the place. No, you need to figure out who it is that you want to help, what problems that you're helping people solve, and develop a solution. One, instead of watering down your message, choose one. Think of it like a niche, like dating. You can't date everybody. You choose one person that you're like, I'm going to be in a relationship with this person. I'm going to solve this one problem. Think about Amazon. This is how Amazon became the behemoth that they are these days, the juggernaut that they are. Amazon started out, and what were they selling originally? Some of you are like, oh, Amazon was selling books. I remember that. No, they weren't just selling books. Amazon was selling used books. But Amazon wasn't even just selling used books. It was actually a micro niche. You know what they were selling? They were selling used textbooks for college students. That's where they began. You begin with one people solving one problem, and you stay consistent on it, and then you get good at it. And you know what you can do? You can create a bigger umbrella for some other kinds of things or whatever. But you got to actually choose a niche, and you got to quit running away. And, some coaches are really good students. So it gives them this thrill that it's like, well, I'm learning more stuff and it's developing me. But what it is it's a procrastination technique. And like I said, self-doubt and a credit card's a dangerous thing, because there's plenty of coaching training programs that would be more than willing to take your money if you sign up for another program. I watch coaches jump all over the place. Well, now I need to get this niche specific kind of training over here. I know some coaches out in the world right now, and they have more training than I do, but they've still not gotten a single client. And the reason is they won't conquer the self-doubt and they won't be consistent and follow through. And I don't want you wandering around coach training programs and Googling and sitting around on YouTube all the time because you won't be consistent. But I understand as well that some of you really need a plan, and that's what leads us to 3. See, a big thing that happens for coaches all the time is just overwhelm in the entire process. And when I say overwhelm, it's because they don't really have a clear set of steps. So what happens is that coaches get overwhelmed and they give up before they ever truly start. And so there's a real fix in this. And the fix is just to get a no guesswork plan with simple steps and support. Why is that the fix? Well, I'm going to show you why. And guess what I have? I have the pen in my back pocket. Here's what we're talking about here. If this is where most coaches are, maybe some of you are here today, and this is where they want to be. This is them living life, fulfilling their purpose. This is them in the future, fully manifested. That's where all of us want to be, hopefully. But the challenge is that a lot of coaches are sitting right here and they have no idea where to start. They have no idea of a plan. They have no idea of their who. They have no specific goals in mind or anything else. And so what ends up happening is that coaches end up bouncing all over the place and trying different kinds of things. And so what ends up happening is that this version of themselves is fully manifested. This person thinks and behaves, and you know what else? They're also making money, and this person is living into fullness and they've left the previous career behind. This person up here is being generous to their family. This person is not in financial duress. This person's not in financial lack. This person's got confidence and is helping a lot of people and everything else. And they're living their dreams and fulfilling everything that they're made for. But see, what ends up happening is that we are right here today. So since we are here today, you can't help but to look up. And my life right now looks so far away from the ideal life that I really want. So when you look up there and it's not smooth and you don't really know what your steps are and everything else, the result is always going to be overwhelm. And so where you find a lot of these coaches living is that they just stop. They're just exhausted and they're stopped and they're stunned and they're a failure to launch because, well, they don't know where to go. This is, you know what it is? It's daunting because what am I supposed to do now? I got this nice certificate from ABC school and they waved at me from the door and I thought this was a golden ticket. And now I have no clue of what I'm supposed to be doing right now. That's most coaches. That is the story. Just so that you guys know that you're not alone, that is the story of 90+% of coaches. This is why why the coaching market's not even close to being saturated, because most of the people getting trained and certified as a coach will never be your competition because they're never going to be in the game. And this is why. Now, how do we fix it? Well, I just told you how we fix it. How we fix it, and I'm going to show you how we fix it. How we fix it is that you just need a no guesswork plan with simple steps and you need support. See, because I don't blame you for for it feeling daunting when you don't know what your steps are and you don't know where you're at. So imagine it's the same exact picture, but what if you knew who your who was? You had a goal in mind. You knew exactly what your target was going to be in terms of money. You knew what your how-tos were. You knew that you had support. You knew that you had someone to go to. If you knew you had a community that wasn't going to allow you to make excuses or to fail. And if you had not a billion things, because you know what happens? Some of you need to turn off these social media gurus and everything else because they stress you out all the time. Here's what's happening with the algorithm, and here's what you need to try to do now. And you try to implement that, and you're not getting any fruit out of it and everything else. And your head's always spinning, and you're always looking around. Turn those people off. We've got a plan that actually works because it's worked for me, and it works for other coaches. And we've boiled it down to be simple because I am a simple person. I get confused really easily. A lot of other people get confused really easily as well because, well, we're just all in the same boat together. I mean, there's some Elon Musk out there in the world. I don't know what percentage of those people are, but I can't think on that level. Just give it to me simple. And I would think that a lot of people would be like, hey, Paul, can you just tell me what my steps are? And here's how you do it. It's like this. Can you do, I understand if you don't want to do 100 steps, but 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you do 6 steps with me? I think that pretty much anybody who's watching me tonight could do 6 steps. I understand you don't want to do 100 steps, but this is what the difference is that when you know where you are in relation to your goal, overwhelm is kicked to the curb because you know exactly where you are. And this is the beauty of having a simple plan, 6 steps, not 30 steps, not even 10 steps, 6 steps that you know every week. I'm going to use this tool and I'm going to do this and I'm going to bring it to these people and get feedback from them. And then I'll know what I need to work on and adjust because they're going to review my website. They're going to talk to me about how to catch leads and everything else. They're going to show me how to write an email. Oh, I don't know how to write an email. We're going to show you how to do that. I don't know how to write a sales page. We'll show you how to do that. We're not going to do it for you because you got to be consistent and put in the work. I don't know anything about websites. Fine. We're going to show you what is needed. We'll show you search engine optimization. There's thousands of dollars worth of resources in this that actually works. What do I do in terms of getting word out there and how do I use social media? We show you how to do that. It's 6 steps. And it eliminates overwhelm because at any given point, because one of the things that steals your motivation is not knowing where you're at. Over here, you never know where you're at and how many more steps. Here, it's going to be really easy. If you're on step 3, that means you've gotten this far. It just means that you've got to go this far to start stepping into your destiny. That's really it. That's how you solve this problem, is you make it simple. Because like I said before, this is not rocket science. It is not brain surgery. It's coaching. It's a very simple business model, but you do need to know who you are as a coach. You need to choose who your ideal client is, know what they want, be able to put that in words and in picture form so that people can see it. We will give you all the tools to be able to do that. You don't have to do this thing alone. I know some of you are still sitting here and you're like, this is going to cost thousands of dollars. How much is that going to cost? It's $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. Anybody can afford this. And if, you've got, here's the thing is that we're giving you the steps and we've done all of the legwork and we've got all the tools and the assignments every week and the support. This is worth 10 grand a month. We know what the price tag is out there. I know what it is. I had people calling me and asking, can we just have closers and we're going to sell your program for like 10 grand a head? And all you got to do is show up. And you know what's going to end up happening? They're going to make 20 to 25% on the sale, and they're going to close people on it, and they will. And all I got to do is show up and keep doing what I'm doing. So we know what it's worth, but there needs to be some consistency and some commitment from you. $3.25 a day. Give up something that you like. Give up Starbucks. $3.25 a day. What are the 6 steps? I'll show you what the six steps are. All of this works for everything you can imagine. Business launches. It works for group coaching. It works for online courses. It works for webinars. It works for retreats. It works for workshops. There are 6 steps, and here's what they are. First step, brainstorm ideas. We do a deep dive and a personal inventory with you. This is where a lot of coaches end up discovering who their who is and put things together. This gets really dialed in. And what happens is that when we do this brainstorm, you're going to have 3 amazing ideas, and you're going to choose the strongest of those 3 that looks the easiest to sell, the easiest to put out there. Step 2, what we're going to do is that we're going to take that best idea and we're going to create an outline for it. What you're going to do is that you're going to end up having that idea, and we're going to help you put together an outline to know exactly what are all of the pieces of that thing that you're putting together. 3 is that you're going to structure your product. What do you mean by that? All we're going to do is that we're going to give you a wireframe, and we're going to help you organize your thoughts, and we're going to make it really, really easy for you. Step 4 is this. How are you supposed to deliver your product? Is this supposed to be group coaching? Is it supposed to be a webinar? Is it supposed to be an online course? What we do is that we give you a coaching product shell. And what you do is that you plug your ideas in it, and it becomes obvious as to which is the best way that you could deliver it and offer it to people so that you can serve them. Might be a retreat, might be a 3-day retreat, might be a week-long retreat, might be a group coaching program, might be in person, might be in a workshop. I don't know till we start putting it together. Step 5 is a pre-launch sequence. What we do is that we give you the 8 key ingredients for success. We show you how to build momentum to pre-launch your product. And then 6 is that we also show you how to put together your website sales page. How do you do social media posts? How do you schedule it? All of the things leading up to your launch. We'll give you 14 days out, and again, a wireframe tool to guide you step by step on how you do this. All of this is included in the coaching product launch blueprint. Live training is going to be Wednesdays at 5:30. What are we doing? I'll preview the assignment for the week, and we'll gather together live over Zoom. You can always watch the replays within 24 hours after the Zoom is over with. We have weekly tools and assignments that help you develop your strategy. And what you'll do is that you'll develop your ideal coaching product, and you're going to get feedback as you go along the way. We're not going to allow you just to do something that's like, okay, that's not going to work. Wouldn't it be nice to know that something's not going to work? And so what we show you is we look at it and we give you feedback, as well as the other coaches who are in there, help you dial in this thing so that it makes sense for who your ideal client is. We cover everything: lead magnets, funnels, all of those things. We show you how to craft your messaging for social media, sales pages, and emails. It's starting this Wednesday, January 24th. What's the cost? Well, it's part of our Jumpstart program. In Jumpstart, you also get trained and certified as a coach. So if you haven't gotten that part knocked out, well, that's included. The next boot camp that's coming up in February, you'll automatically be enrolled. Plus, you get access to 5 other courses, including Brand Camp. We have a course on Instagram growth and some other kinds of things. I know I'm focusing on this, but it's a fully comprehensive program, and it's only $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment. If you jump inside the description of this video, then you can click on it and you can get enrolled in 90 seconds and join us on Wednesday. And I'm telling you, don't waste any more time. Listen, if you were going to do this on your own, let's just be frank. If you were going to do this on your own, you would have already done it. This is why we've created this thing, is to take all your excuses out of the way and get you out of the free fall. Because for some of you, if more months pass by, you can kiss coaching goodbye. It's never going to happen. Let's quit wasting time. It's the end of January, and you've missed already the easiest sales month out of the entire year. So let's quit losing money. You're literally losing money, time, purpose, freedom, life satisfaction, all of those other kinds of things. I got to talk to you straightforward, because I don't know that anybody else is talking to you straightforward about your purpose and calling in your life. Everybody's focused on their stuff and everything else. And we're in 2024. I turned 50 years old this year. I don't know how old you guys are, but I'm still going after my purpose, and I'm still going after things. And part of my destiny is actually not only you guys getting trained and certified, but that you're out there changing people's lives. So I have to show up, and I have to make a big call out to all of you to take action, because I don't fulfill my purpose unless you're actually fulfilling yours. So let's stop the excuses. Let's stop the procrastination. Hey, I understand you didn't know what to do. You were overwhelmed. You were afraid. You're afraid of failing. You were afraid of succeeding. You were afraid of whatever. I understand. I know all those things. I know all the things of self-doubt. I've done all those things. You know how I know these things so well? Because I did them myself. But at a certain point, there was a line in the sand where I had to make a decision that was different, and I couldn't keep thinking and acting the same way and thinking I'm going to get a different life. So if you're stuck, you're in your head, or any of these things are true about you, let us walk alongside you. It's fine if you're scared. It's fine if you're overwhelmed. It's fine if you think that you're going to fail. Hey, pretty much everybody in the program who's signing up right now feels those things right now as well. But let's move forward, because I don't want you, because you will never defeat what you refuse to confront in your life. and it'll keep showing up, and it'll keep making you back down. And it's time to stop backing down. Let me say hello to a couple more people really quick. Oh, Miles is joining us from San Diego. How's it going, Miles? Awesome. Hey, Amanda, thank you for that. And there's Suzanne. Good seeing you. Thank you so much, Miles. Bart said, it's not rocket surgery. Did I say rocket surgery? Uh-oh. We'll be able to replay this later. Yes, this same video, well, actually, it's going to replay for several hours, but this particular link will be saved for you to get into. So you're all good. All right. And Miles says, I will see you Wednesday. I will see you Wednesday, Miles. It's going to be great. All right, guys, listen. Let's do this thing. Link is inside the description. Let's get this done. Let's get started. Let's knock it out of the park. Get your coaching practice launch in the next 90 days. Listen, I appreciate you guys all immensely. Have a great rest of your week and take care.